topic is displacement, which is really applicable to a lot of the other topics that we've been looking at, and a lot of it's kind of building up into leading to displacement. And so from the article that you guys read last night, it kind of highlighted the trends of the types of people who end up getting displaced, and that's kind of woven into our society. So just generally, displacement is when a person or family is forced out of their home due to the circumstances, and it's especially prominent today in the Bay Area because, as you read through the Burrowing Owls article, there are a shortage of houses and people need a place to live, and there are these new technology companies and engineers that are moving in, making prices go up because the demand for houses is so high and there's such a short supply. So that inflates prices and makes it really difficult for people who have lived in the Bay Area for a long time who don't have as high income paying jobs to afford living in San Francisco. And so basically, just to reiterate the article, older people, people without college degrees, Latino people and African Americans in the Bay Area are the ones that are being affected the most by displacement. And people in San Francisco are really worried right now that displacement is driving some of the culture out of the city that has made San Francisco such a diverse place. And that's partly because artists and people with less standard jobs are having to move out because the rents are so high. So there are a few type of ways people get displaced that I want to highlight right now before we do a little activity. So the first is buyouts. So buyout is a type of eviction, and it occurs when a landlord wants to sell their apartment building or their building, and it's advantageous for them to make the most money, to have as few tenants living in their property as possible. And you can just kind of see that, like if you were a prospective landlord and you wanted to buy the property, you'd want as few people living in there as possible because that would leave more flexibility for you. And so what the landlord can do, since they're not allowed to just kick people out, they can offer people a certain amount of money, and today that's $40,000 is the average buyout price, for them to exchange for that money, leave the apartment. And I'll get into why that kind of leads to a lot of people becoming displaced later. And quickly, the Ellis Act, we read about it in the Burrowing Owls article, but it allows landlords to change the purpose of their building and remove the tenants. So if you wanted to change your apartment that could be under rent control to condominiums, where you can make a lot more money, you can do that, and people in the apartment, the rents would go way up because of the condominium prices. And then rent increase laws. So in San Francisco, the San Francisco rent ordinance is allowed to permit the landlord to increase their rents by a set amount that the board decides on once every year. And that is determined by the San Francisco Rent Board, which will keep increasing prices. So I want to do a little activity to highlight buyouts and its effects and kind of do a simulation. So can I have 5 volunteers, please? All right, Jake, Alex, Sinead, Arthur, anyone else? Michelle? Okay. Okay, so basically, yeah. Michelle, you're going to be the landlord, and your goal for this activity is to collect as much money in the form of Hershey Kisses as possible. And you can do that. You guys can all have some. But the way you do that is when you're selling the building, if there are tenants living in the building, it'll go for way less money. But you can't just kick people out. You have to figure out a way to remove them from the building so that you can collect as much money as possible. So you're going to start with 25 Hershey Kisses. Maybe just count out 20. And then Jake, Alex, and Sinead, you're going to be the 3 tenants that are currently living in the building. So Alex, you just inherited a lot of money from your grandfather who just passed away, so you're not too worried about money. But You just got a new job right down the street from the apartment building, so it's advantageous for you to stay in the location that you're in. Jake, you have a lot of student loans that you need to take care of, and you just got your first job out of college, and you are considering moving to Nebraska anyway, because the rent's a lot cheaper there, so you're not really attached to this apartment. And Sinead, you're 10 and 3, and you see pros and cons to leaving and staying. You like the area, but you think you could be closer with your family, and you don't get along with the neighbor. And Arthur, you're the prospective landlord, and your goal is to buy the apartment from Michelle. So you're going to get 20 Hershey Kisses. I don't know. Alright, so Michelle, since you can't just pick them out, and Arthur is going to offer you 20 Hershey Kisses for the property if nobody's living in it, how are you going to get rid of your 3 tenants that may or may not want to stay? How did you go?
18, 19.
If I were to give you all, so there are only 3 tenants,
Only
so I
3.
give them all 4 Hershey's Kisses and keep profit of 4,
You just want the kisses.
and then I take his 20.
Now you have to ask them because they have to approve it.
Okay, so approve it.
I don't need money.
I approve it.
I buy you veg for a week.
You got a few minutes
That's
to
not very long term.
Yes.
I'm just
Alright, so
clapping.
Jake is gone.
Wait, what?
So you're accepting it?
Yeah, I want more.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, you get 4.
Oh, okay, I'll take that.
That's not a good deal.
I have 20.
No, because it's
I
like.
would have taken one.
Yeah.
I'm living in Nebraska.
I decided I don't want to.
So you're not trying to do
I don't
this.
know, but what's
What if
my,
I give you 5?
that's still not, I don't want any.
What if I
don't
give you
need
5 in my
I like
eternal
where I live.
appreciation?
You hear this man's voice?
What if I come to one of your games?
That's not related.
What if another minute, Michelle?
What about you?
Want to go to prom with me? I've never been rejected.
Okay, you guys can distribute the Hershey Kisses between everybody, but you guys can sit
Do you
down.
not like chocolate? Is that why you don't like it?
Well, I still wouldn't take it.
Alright,
Let's
so
move on.
basically, we'll just open this up to a
Wait, what
discussion.
about me?
You give Michelle you get the house.
I don't
Um,
think it's at all.
well-
I don't want to buy it anymore. Alex is there.
Good job, guys.
What do you guys think that shows about, like, does that make buyouts clear to you guys? Like, do you get that it's super complicated and there's always going to be someone, it's never fully clear what's going to happen and what's the right thing? And then also, what's tough is if so if the average buyout price is $40,000 and that person leaves and they lose their job or something bad happens, $40,000 isn't that much to have. Price to live in San Francisco is around $3,000 per month in an apartment. So as you can see from that, it's difficult to keep that and keep surviving and keep paying rent in San Francisco. And I just kind of wanted to open up to a Socratic discussion now about what you guys think could be fixed about the way the San Francisco housing is structured right now to prevent displacement, because right now in half of the cities and neighborhoods in the Bay Area there's some sort of severe form of displacement, and San Francisco is losing a lot of people, and a lot of people that have had these creative jobs in the past are getting replaced. And so what do you guys think is a way to fix this solution? And just kind of talk about this questions we had to write for homework last night about, would you want to live in a city where people have similar incomes to you, and there's a lack of these kind of creative artists kind of jobs, because that's what displacement is doing to a lot of cities around the United States. So, what do you think, Arthur?
Well, I have some contradicting information.
What's So.
I don't have a source or a citation for it, but I've heard that tech companies are actually looking for more like creative artist types right now to be working
Well,
with.
yeah, I mean that's like a trend, but if you think about like street artists and people that have thrived in Mill Valley, at least in the 1960s and 70s, those kind of people thrived and had a place to live and could live peacefully. And now the rents are getting so high that those people are struggling to keep living in these areas. And while these tech companies are hiring a lot of creative people, those people all have college, like they're very well educated, and not everybody is. So it's just kind of this ongoing cycle.
Yeah, I get that. I think that everything's a trend, you know, there's so many trends in society. And art comes from struggle, so artists will find a new place to struggle. I mean, like, this is just like problematic opinion that I'd like to throw out for someone to argue against.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, I've heard of artists not wanting to go somewhere else to struggle, like they like their place now. But I think there's something to that. Like you can just go see somewhere else. Maybe that's fine for the artists in the long run, but is it good for San Francisco to have all the artists leave, or only keep the artists who want to take corporate?
Yeah, does someone just kind of want to summarize what the article said about the people that are migrating in and out of the city?
They're Asian males. That's what the article said.
But there's like around 60,000 people move in and out of San Francisco annually, but what's happening is the people that are coming in are the majority of them have graduated college. They're mostly Asian or white, and they're mostly male. So it's just like Arthur was saying, it's creating this trend of people that are tending to dominate this area. So.
At least with the situation you described of the landlord trying to pay their tenants to leave,
Yeah.
it feels like if you were to like say kind of prevent that in some way, you'd be saying to the people like, you can't make your own autonomous decision about where you want to live, because like obviously those people are choosing like, I'm assuming that they're making rational decisions, or at least I think it would be a little bit offensive to assume that they're being irrational and we know what's best for them. It feels weird like saying like, oh, we're gonna somehow, I don't know what solution we want, but like we're gonna somehow prevent you from taking what you think is a good deal because we want our city to be a certain way.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree.
I mean, but I guess there's like a root problem of like if it's hard for them to live there because rents are just too high. That's it. I feel like this problem isn't doesn't feel like it's landlords paying people to leave. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think also with the idea of just it being a systematic trend thing, I think the best way to sort of start a process of getting out of that would be just like future generations and our generation and like Gen Z, I think especially, to help sort of fix that problem and start doing things that would help move it in the opposite direction. It's not going to fix itself, but I feel like it's a more like gradual process rather than a complete systematic.
Because, like, I mean, the housing is so limited in the Bay Area, and I think we can all agree that if there was more housing, it would become more affordable, and then the problem of displacement would slowly go. It wouldn't be as bad as it is today. But in reality, like, there's only so much we can do with like how our policies are constructed, and like and until the economy crashes, these prices are going to still be super inflated. So I don't know, just something to think about. How can San Francisco try and fix this problem?
I don't know. I personally think that like, in order for a society to stay dynamic, it needs to keep changing, and like, especially with art, like there's so many different trends, and they've all been in so many different places. Like France and like England were the art worlds, or like the center of the arts for so long, and now it's like New York and LA. So I feel like, yeah, in China, Japan, like huge right now too, and like I feel like for art to keep evolving and to keep moving, you know. So like, San Francisco's art scene is kind of dead right now, and like that's because there's a lot of techies here, and I feel like that's just giving an opportunity for somewhere else to have an art scene. Like I heard that like Baltimore has a really good art scene right now. So I don't know if it's necessarily. I think it's bad for the people who want to stay here, but like, you know, you have to keep moving and changing as a society. You can't just stay in one place forever.
I have to go right now for the
You do.
baseball, but if you
Thank
guys.
you. Have a good game.
Thank you. I love this.
It also is like service workers.
Yeah,
Not
well, that's a different thing.
getting
Service
So like it creates like it's already a class difference. The service workers make less money, but if they have to live in Stockton,
You know what?
or Pleasanton,
Yeah.
and commute an hour and a half every day.
Yeah, no.
It's really
Yeah.
If we had been talking about that, I would have agreed that that would be so much more. But like, for the art thing, like, obviously, if
No, can
someone's
we, like, throw
surviving
it
as an
in